What's good, guys? And welcome to another episode of Mini Football Logic. It's Zeno here, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the title decider that just happened between Manchester City and Arsenal. Obviously, guys, as we know, Arsenal for the last few games have been struggling. Draws to Southampton, draws to West Ham, all of this kind of stuff. A draw before that. Arsenal just haven't, been in the best of form, and they've been feeling the pressure. And today, it finally told after three consecutive draws against Manchester City, who have been chasing them for a long time, and before this game were on a 16-game unbeaten streak in all competitions. The game ended 4-1, if you don't know already. De Bruyne at the double, Haaland getting one, John Stones getting one. It's difficult, but let's go through the game and its events. Man City were always in control. Arsenal didn't look like a team that were competing for the title. They haven't looked like it, to be honest, for the last few games. But this game was the absolute peak of it. You can get away with some dodgy performances against West Ham or, Southampton. Even the Liverpool game, they actually started off really, really well, and then Liverpool fought back. And honestly, it's really tough to see them fall like this. Psych, it's not tough. I'll be honest. I'm not saying I feel good, because you don't want to wish bad on teams, no matter how much you hate them. But Man City are inevitable. And honestly, no one can stop them. Apart from Liverpool that one season. But Man City are inevitable. When you've built a squad like that, with a manager like that, with the experience they have as local champions in the Premier League, this was always a foregone conclusion. Now, Arsenal made us believe for a second that maybe they could hold on to go ahead and win the title. But I was telling many people this before. We all know how good Man City are at their best. We now know how good Arsenal can be at their best. But the harsh reality is, competing at an elite level takes a lot of consistency and mental strength. And just being able to be focused every single game. And Arsenal will learn this with time. The harsh reality is simply that Man City are of a higher level, of a higher caliber than Arsenal. The squad is stronger. They have more experience. They have a more experienced and better coach on many different levels, even though, as we know, Pep mentored Arteta, gave him the foundation and management that allowed him to get to this point with Arsenal into the project he has developed there. And obviously, people did not see Arsenal coming for this season to be competing for the title. So it's time to step back for these guys and look at the bigger picture, which is they're still 2 points ahead, even though it's no longer in their hands. If Man City win the 2 games in hand, that gap that Arsenal have it turns into a gap for Manchester City, and they're suddenly a few points ahead of everyone else, 3 points ahead of Arsenal. Obviously, right now, after that 4-1 loss for the Gunners, it's 75 points for them and 73 for Man City. But if Man City win the games in hand, it will be 79 for Man City and 75 for Arsenal. That's a 4-point gap. The opportunities were there. If they beat Southampton and they beat West Ham, this game wouldn't have held as much importance as the media were trying to make it hold. But Arsenal allowed that narrative to be played out, and Man City stepped up when it mattered. This game, many people would have hoped for it to be a lot more competitive, but the real truth is that it shows that Arsenal, I'm not saying we're lucky to be in the title race, but just how far they need to still go in order to be serious, consistent contenders. The fact that he even took it to 30-something games is a massive achievement. We can't sit down here and deny that. We know how bad all the other teams have been, especially Chelsea and Liverpool, maybe Tottenham as well, definitely Tottenham as well, and obviously United are suddenly going in a positive direction. These teams are in the period of transition and rebuilding. Man City, because of the money they have and the funding they've been receiving, they're able to just continue perpetually rebuilding their squad and making sure they stay at the optimum level every season. And we should just be happy that Arsenal managed to step up this season and make it interesting and give a race. But it looks like their race has been run. They weren't going to take it to the final day. But obviously, as we know in football, you can never say never. You can never say never simply because of the fact that football is unpredictable. But I can't lie, when it comes to the most predictable things in football, it's Man City being able to take control when they have the chance to and staying there. they're just excellent front runners. And now that they have this Norwegian Donny up front, yeah, scoring goals for fun. Although I can't lie to you, he missed a lot of key chances in that game. Ramsdale for some reason seemed to level up when he was facing Haaland, but when the De Bruyne was taking shots at him, he suddenly melted away. And then in the last minute of the game, he must have thought Haaland was a different man because he undone his hair or something, and the shot went through him. But honestly, this was a performance that Man City had that they made Arsenal look ordinary, as in the Arsenal of old in recent years. The underachieving, frustrating to watch Arsenal. But as we know, they've come a long way this season, and unfortunately, what's happening here is that the levels have been established. Man City are up here, Arsenal are down there. This is just how it is. Arsenal can rebuild. I say rebuild. Arsenal can fill in the holes and fill in the gaps that have been exposed through this run, and hopefully become stronger next time and maintain their level and try to be more consistent while also handling a high level of European competition. Because as we know, they struggled in the Europa League, losing to Sporting on penalties. But, that ain't no shame. Ruben Amorim, the manager of Sporting, is a very highly rated coach. And they have very talented players like Pedro Gonçalves and, of course, Marcus Edwards. So it's not a bad loss, but a team also should be beating really, truly on paper. But obviously, of course, as we know, the league isn't played on paper. The cup isn't played. Any tournament isn't played on paper. We have to expect the unpredictable. And this season, we've seen that with Arsenal and their performances. But today is a day where it was confirmed to the world. Manchester City have always been in control. Well, I say they've always been in control. There was a time where people, including myself, in fact, it's probably the last episode I recorded. No, it wasn't. It was one of the last few episodes I recorded, where I literally said that Arsenal could actually do this, that they looked like they could do this, but eventually it caught up with them, and this game is the icing on top of the cake, really. It shows the gap. This is in Man City's hands now, and it's unlikely they're going to let go. It was a dominating performance, 4-1. Arsenal got a cheeky little consolation through Rob Holding, but throughout the game, it just didn't look threatening. The players seemed tired, The defence looks shaky, but this is not their best back four, of course. Their star defender, Saliba, is injured. But you'd expect more. You'd expect more for a team that has been title contenders the whole season, really and truly. They've been up there throughout the year. But now it looks like they're about to fall off, and hopefully they can still keep it competitive. Because we don't want it to end, with Man City completely, cruising to the line. But now it's up to them to recover in the next few games and to keep it stepping and to keep it moving. Man City, on the other hand, well, they're Man City, right? Let's just see what they do from here and then the Champions League. But anyways, I think I'm gonna end it here. It's been a month since I last made one of these. Hopefully, you guys won't have to wait as long for that. I know I've gained some new subscribers as well, so I might as well say shout out to you guys. I know who you are, so I appreciate you, and you know the ones there. I appreciate you very much, and nonetheless, I think I'm gonna end it here. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Mini Laji.